Anyway, now we all go quiet and wait for Sam to speak.
Sure.
Okay, Sam, you can start whenever you feel like it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
As Norman
Preferably not right now, though.
Oh my god. No, that's not your character. It's not allowed.
As Norman travels further into the forest, he begins to notice the path darken, the air slowly becoming more foul-smelling as a hazy fog descends, but nevertheless, he continues on. After a short while, there's a small clearing, and a young woman is there, with a child in tow. He of course approaches to try and warn them about the dangers of being out here. She stops and smiles at him. "Oh, I know all too well," is her response, before laughing. But it's not a normal laugh, it lingers and grows more warped and multiplies. He glances around before looking back to where they were, and she's disappeared. He goes to reach for his sword, but a force stops him, and then a disgusting aroma overwhelms his senses as a pus-ridden arm materializes, holding Norman's arm in place. On the end of it, razor-sharp claws dig into his armor as the monstrous form of a hag fully materializes before him.
God.
Oh.
Hag. Welcome to Challenge Raiders. It's the show where we talk about a D&D monster while I draw it. I'm Theo. I do the drawing.
I'm Sam. I'm going to be presenting the monster today.
And I'm Neil. I'm really just here.
Just here for today. But yeah, so that's the hag.
The hag. Yes. So there's.
I know absolutely nothing about this enemy. I think I've scrolled past it. I've been flipped past it in the book a couple of times.
Yeah.
But...
Hags are pretty good.
We'll just go with the green hag. I think it's the most normal looking one, as in it's a green-skinned, tall, really gross woman with like big claw hands.
Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got a lot of license. The key things I'd want to emphasize are like they love being disgusting.
Oh.
They take glee in it. They like the book goes into detail. I know it's not really your wheelhouse, but it literally says in the book that they will sharpen their teeth on millstones, spin cloth from the intestines of their victims. They will do things.
Jesus Christ.
They will do things that will be disgusting to. They like the reaction it gets from people because they love misery. I don't know if you've ever.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. Like they go all in.
Yeah.
Oh
This is what you get when you have an evil fae.
Yeah.
Are they fae?
They are fae folk. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
So that's where there's a whimsy to it.
But before we do anything too much, then is there any more physical things I should be aware of, like armor, weapons, or anything, or
no.
should I'll just get going?
No, none of they use because their claws are really strong, so they use them as their main form of attacking, and they are all spellcasters as well. So they're kind of in like rags. There's
a unique item which most of them have, which is a hag eye.
Yeah,
a hag eye.
This is that's actually a coven specific item, which we can talk about covens in this one. I think obviously this is the first time we're talking about the hag, so when we go and do the other ones,
sure, yeah.
Because hags, the coven is a really interesting part of what makes the hags really cool. I think it's good because, especially the green hag, its challenge rating is 3, which means that,
so
I think
not amazingly high.
It's not super high. I think it could, on its own, it could be a really interesting kind of first big bad. Like there's a hag that's like tormenting a village.
Right,
However,
yeah. I mean, using it as an evil witch from like a classic fairy tale sort of thing.
100%. But when they get into a coven, which is they will become a group of 3, all of the hags gain challenge rating. Like it becomes a challenge rating 5 creature when it's in a coven.
Yeah, they like pull their magic and they get access to more spells.
That's really cool. The weird sisters, of course. That's I guess a reference to sort of the Macbeth. The 3.
Hubble, bubble, toil, and trouble.
Technically, it's a double in Shakespeare. But, anyway, don't worry.
Why are you Romeo?
Romeo, what's going on? Anyway, Romeo's not here.
Yes, that is despite being awful creatures who literally they procreate by eating children.
Jesus Christ! Yeah. There's not usually in D&D they don't even bother going into that.
Yeah.
But for hags, it's got to be in there because it's got to be the worst.
Hags will it even specifies further they will eat a baby from its cradle or from its mother's womb.
Bloody hell! Jesus Christ! This is really Grimm's. You know what? It's been a while, but we're gonna get a tongue. We're gonna get a tongue.
Yeah.
This
is,
the
tongue's
been a
back.
long ass time. It's been a long time since we've had a tongue in D&D.
Tongue time. Pop up on screen. Tongue time.
Tongue, yeah. Hashtag tongue of the year. There we go.
And like a lot of these kind of like monstrous creatures where like children are involved, they often it'll be given back to the parents, and then when they reach 13, like they transform into a spitting image of their hag mother.
Oh, right. So it's okay.
And hags like to do this because they like watching the horror of parents realizing their child is a monster. Like that's why they'll do it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Sure. this is the evilest monster we've had.
Yeah, no,
So
they are.
This is worse than Mindfire in terms of like actual evil.
So yeah, it's like the reason why they're so bad is it's for a laugh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't have like a. I mean,
just for the giggles.
they do have like they have goals they want to go towards, but it's super self-interested. They love like the only reason they get into a coven because hags hate each other as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
The only reason
That's
they get
really
into a
fun.
coven is because it means they get more power.
Yeah.
Sure,
Also,
yeah.
they say that they're always in odd-numbered covens.
Yes.
So, because
Okay.
hags never agree,
So the third
Oh,
one,
so
the
they
third
need-
one will
so-
be the arbiter of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
so they
That's
need
great.
to be in odd numbers to even function.
That's so fun. These, like, clearly, just from the get-go, this is like, they were like, we need something that's like a witch, an evil Grimm's fairy tales, ridiculous witch.
Yeah.
But, like, they were like, we don't want to make, like, we're going to make it a monster, not just, like, someone who is an evil practitioner of magic.
I mean,
So
yeah.
you can have a layer, you can have, like, witches in your game, and and also still have hags.
Yeah, Sam, we've touched on the hag-eye already.
Yes.
It's,
Yeah, I drew an eye. She's holding an eye. I don't know what it does,
that
but
can
she's,
that can be the hag eye. Like that's,
is it not just a big eye?
a hag eye is made from a real eye that's coated in varnish.
Oh, okay.
And it's often
well, I'm
fitted to a
drawing, like,
pendant or other wearable item. Like,
Oh, that's okay.
So
I
what
can-
they can only have one per coven, but it basically acts as like CCTV. Like they can see what the hag eye sees.
Oh,
So-
so it's like a scrying.
Yeah. So they can put it up in their coven, so they know if people start rooting around where they're not there, or they often put it on like a minion or like follower. So you could like I think the good thing about the hag again, there's a lot. I think it's multifaceted. That's what makes it interesting. You could
Sure,
have it.
yeah.
You could have a minion use it to spy on the party.
Yeah. Well, here, what's clearly happening here, and she's obviously got like a Skype call going with the rest of the coven, and
Yeah.
and showing off this fellow that she's found.
By the way, this fellow is Norman.
That's Norman. Yeah, if you've been here since episode Manticore, you'll know who Norman is. He's in the intro these days. He's always been in the intro, but now he's more of a character. He's the viewpoint character for this series, and of course he's in the intro, the introduction.
The word to describe him is intrepid.
Yeah.
He keeps going. Nothing can stop him except. Well, no, he's still here. He's friends with the Tarask. Anyway, but yeah, hags. What kind of like stuff do they do, like attacks wise?
Yeah. So their main form of attack is actually their claws. They have 18 strength.
Okay, hang on. Jesus, because when I first started drawing the frame, I was like, "Oh, that's way too big. That's way too blocky. That's like a muscle man frame."
They're not.
18.
Yeah,
18 strength. Is that their highest stat?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
What kind of...
So
These are like orcs.
they have. It's mainly. I think it's mainly to do with like it's like a supernatural almost obviously. Cause
Yeah. No, because it really fits in.
It
with,
kind of
with,
describes like
old...
their claws kind of
yeah.
cut through flesh like butter. It's kind of what.
This is a mix of like every Grimm's fairy tale and then like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
This is what this kind of is going for.
They do have innate spell casting. What the green hag does. It doesn't have anything too amazing on that regard. It has like dancing lights, minor illusion, vicious mockery.
Sure. Yeah.
It has abilities that again they kind of lead towards the idea of like it can use misdirection or it could like be spying on the party because it has mimicry. It can emulate animal sounds or humanoid voices. It can set up an illusionary appearance, so it can take the form of someone else, like the girl in the opening, and it can also go invisible.
So so again, the spells are not really there to shoot you with and do lots of damage, but they're there to just make it difficult for you to detect them. Sure, yeah, because again, these are I assume the sort of things that don't want to bring too much attention to themselves because they're smart enough.
And they like their lairs and they like their solitude because they hate everything else, so they'd probably hate living around people.
I would, because we're touching on uses right now.
Sure, yeah.
A couple of things immediately spring to mind for me that I am immediately loving in my head.
Yeah.
Which is the fact that it's a creature that just wants to mess with people.
Right, yeah.
So it could do something like always the first Tuesday of every month, Like the hag does something to a town.
It comes to town, yeah.
Yeah,
and it's the sort of Fae thing where it's doing like a prank, kind of, but it's the sort of prank where someone dies.
It thinks it's hilarious that it put the wife on the roof and the man in the basement.
Yeah,
or something like that. Like
real funny to lock like the kid away in the shed over a weekend where the parents had to go, and so it dies of starvation. All classics.
They have like a kind of interesting. Duality's a bit of a whimsical word for it, but they're not just like pure pranksters. They do live by like a kind of like set of rules. So like for example, the book there's the paragraph Dark Sorority. Basically, it talks about how hags interact with each other. So they're in constant contact with other hags. So it's quite likely that in a world that a hag will know every other hag in existence.
Jesus.
Like they keep in contact. They also have they have a set of they have a code of conduct. So they will like announce their presence before going into another hag's territory. Like bring gifts if they're going to a hag's dwelling. They won't break any oaths that they make for other hags. But it does have a parentheses as long as the oath wasn't given with fingers crossed. So this kind of leads into
that's great.
I love it.
They'll follow
really
rules.
Fairy tale. Yeah. Like, simple rules that you have to. It's kind of like the whole if you know a demon's name, then you have control of it. Really old school rules, and that's what like D&D like does really well for like a lot of classic monsters like that. Is very fun.
You know that they will interact with people as again like if people show proper like deference and like respect. You can kind of if you're obviously if you're powerful enough. I think if you're just a normal man, you probably get killed. But if they realise you're a hero, you could kind of walk to their coven and trade with them. Well, you could get that information. However, like the trade would generally be something like where they'd want you to compromise your principles. Like maybe they'd be like, we can tell you where this this
they want to make you gross as well.
You've got to go do this gross thing. You've got to go like maybe you got to go free. You got to free like invoke a demon or something like that.
Or maybe they ask you to do something that seems innocent and simple, but turns out
there's a consequence of
the consequence will be very bad.
I think the key to that is making it something that the players are accepting of.
Yeah. You've got to find a middle ground of something that they know. That might be a hard thing to play with if they're the murder hobo. Like they don't care about anything in the. But that's again talking about the player's competence is a bit of a null point anyway. You've got to find that middle ground where it's not something they're going to go, no, it's not worth it. But something that head scratching like, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Free the local thief from the town jail.
Yeah, and maybe you don't know. Maybe he's not just in prison for being a thief.
He might
that could be like
done a murder as well in the thievery.
Yeah.
Or because of divination magic or something, she knows he will do a murder in the future.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, or will just be a pawn for them to use for that. Yeah. Or of course you could have if you wanted to be perhaps a little more family friendly, just have it say, "I hate this other hag. Go kill this other hag for me."
This is the thing. This is like, I guess this can kind of move into like the coven stuff.
Sure, yeah.
There isn't like a super load to go through, but like basically they just get a shared spell casting. All three members can cast like there's quite a decently long spell list.
Yeah.
Goes up to a 6. They have a 1/6 level spell slot in there for eye bite.
For 3 level for challenge rating 3.
Well, obviously when they
go up.
When they're in the coven, they got challenge rating 5.
Right.
And that's only the green hag. There's another variant of the hag which is challenge rating 5 that goes up to 7.
Ooh.
And then in Volos there's some more hags.
So
hags galore.
Yeah, I just pulled. I don't know if there's further. I actually didn't know there's further stuff in Volos because obviously they're in the main monster manual. So that's all I've actually read for this.
I believe there's a swamp and sea hag.
Okay.
Oh wow.
As long as there's not too much extra on the. I think the hag common stuff. Basically, they have some interesting spells in here. Like they have free casts of polymorph, so they could just turn you into a newt, like a party member.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. If they want to. So that's pretty fun. They can bestow curses. They can hold person, like ray of sickness, like all the kind of like all that fun stuff that you'd expect a gross, disgusting hag to be able to do.
Yeah.
I think that for a player playing this, the DM could make them so memorable with a voice.
Oh, a voice is a must. Yeah, it's not even like a hard voice. Everyone can do a stupid witch cackle voice. Yeah.
As well as every attack, you need to have the magic words. Bibbidi bobbidi, piss off.
Yeah. Again, you can go really a lot of character to be had here.
Yeah,
Again,
I
not,
like
not,
the
not a
idea.
monster that like lends itself to being used without a lot of thought. You couldn't just have one that's on an account table, really.
I really am leaning into the idea that Sam had that the hag is nothing to do with the story you have planned.
Oh yes,
as in what's going on, but the hag is that. Well, how do we find this information? Well, there's always tales of the old hag, and you do the deal with the hag.
Yeah.
And then, it just moves on, and then you can reuse her later on. Say, for instance, there is a bad hag later on, and she could be like, "Oh, she's a dick," and stuff like that. Like you could actually make it a somewhat recurring character.
For sure, yeah, and it's one that the party are not necessarily keen on. But, maybe don't see the need to kill. Right.
Maybe she's terrorising a goblin clan. Or
That's
something.
True, yeah.
Like,
not necessarily him. Just if you don't care too much about the victim, you may not be so keen to...
Yeah, if it has the capacity to feel despair, then green hags will love it.
Yeah,
that's fair.
That could be really fun. Like that she is terrorising this other clan, and maybe there could be a line where, that she could even say, "You do know if I stop doing this, the clan would attack the city, right?"
Yeah, it's like,
I don't care either way. Kill me or whatever.
That could be a really good way to stop the party from just wanting to go and kill the obviously really evil creature.
Incredibly evil, yeah.
Yeah.
But I really like the, because it's the, what you talking about earlier, Sam, they wouldn't necessarily deal with normal people, but they would want to deal potentially with more powerful people, or because that really just is exactly like it is in Macbeth, where he's wandering around in the woods, and then he comes across these witches like, "Hey, we're going to reach your future. You're going to be king. Go do it."
He doesn't even ask him Macbeth.
No, he doesn't even ask him. It's like, yes, finally. Like,
I think it's one of those things where it can be interesting because obviously player alignment isn't such a big deal mechanically now as it was in older editions.
That is true, yeah.
But you could make it where they take more interest in the lawful good or the good party members because they can see a goodness in them that they want to corrupt. That's such a big part of
they might just be an evil guy, like every other human.
They're not that interested because you don't care.
I do like that they're not actually just evil humans or something like that.
No.
That's good. The fact that they are a fey creature, I think, is good. It avoids any annoying super Christian anti Satan stuff that was actually involved in witch real life witch story stuff.
Along the lines of what you were just saying, getting them to corrupt their morals.
Oh yeah.
The great way to do that is that they give information that the party members cannot help but act upon.
Right. Yeah.
That is something that I remember a Spoonie video. He talked about how Strad von Zarevich, the evil vampire lord, he would appear in front of the paladin of the party and talk about where innocents were going to be killed to get the party to go there to fight off this other menace. The telling them how they can do good, and now that they know that, the good character cannot ignore that information.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's an interesting one because I think hags might be able to do something like that role, but they are also so overtly disgustingly evil that party members might just want to kill them on sight anyway.
I think I probably fall into that category. I think it depends a lot on the characters and the setting. It depends
how you present them. You haven't got to have them be as absolutely heinous as the book.
You don't have to talk about the whole baby eating. No, that doesn't have to come up.
You can leave that out, and if it's something that isn't public, local knowledge, then you ain't got to worry about it. There's probably one more thing that gets left that's maybe worth talking about, and that's that when it comes to their magical power, they kind of have there's we haven't really talked about it too much. There's an arrogance to them actually, so this is actually quite interesting. So it kind of starts in that their magic, they kind of believe that their magic can challenge, will eventually be able to challenge the gods. That's kind of their end goal.
As a species,
they blaspheme gods at every opportunity. It says.
Okay.
They kind of have they're arrogant to a fault, so they believe they're more cunning than all other creatures, and everyone else is inferior.
Right. So you can trick them with
you've got a flaw. They're not really stat wise, they're not that intelligent or wise. They have 13.
Really?
They have 13 int, 14 wisdom. So they're not obviously
not bad.
But they're not supremely. So if the party could exploit that, or then that's like good creatures have flaws. Good
you
enemies
could,
have flaws.
you could get them to blaspheme so hard they just get struck by lightning and killed by God.
What make the God just has enough of it? He's like, yeah, get out of here.
If you do like something like ancient Greek-esque, and like you just because that's the classic, you know, a lot of ancient Greek myth is like, you know, how someone said a thing and then a god just happened to be listening and was like, yeah, go on then, and then they got cursed or killed. And I think that could be quite funny. It obviously depends entirely on the setting you've got, but
that is your key to how you actually open a dialogue with them, not as monsters. Like that is the mighty Jagratha.
Yeah.
Who rivals the power of the gods and whose magic will one day cast us all low. You know. Like...
Yeah, if you go there praising them, then they're more likely to give you a hand, I suppose. Yeah.
Finally, acknowledged for the wonder. You know what? The Skeletor is what they are.
Yeah, I think like you're totally like that arrogance, so like flattery and like, you know, like that bootlicking kind of like, or fake bootlicking stuff can probably maybe lead you down a path again. You know, as we like to do, they could be a character. They haven't just got to be a stat block or a monster.
Yeah. An NPC in town, the captain of the guard or ancient wise woman who says that to find your information you can go see this hag. She tells you a couple of things about her. One, don't trust her unless she's being specific. Two, go there praising her and don't make any false moves. 3, don't drink the tea. She will offer you tea, do not drink the tea. Like, you know, so like that.
I'm not thinking like, probably actually a too dramatic quest. I'm not sure how I'd actually enjoy running or being in it, but the idea of having the parent whose child got turned into a hag being someone of like importance, and then being like, okay, well, I want this hag like dead.
Yeah, I need that vengeance.
Whatever. Yeah, and then that would probably be a little. I don't know. That could be too heavy, but if you want to go heavy,
depends
then
on the setting. People might want that. Sometimes it's good to
Definitely.
maybe push like not boundaries. Well, not boundaries, but like
storytelling can be dramatic, and that can be very good.
Well, you could just run an incredibly dark world.
And that is true as well, yeah. And of course, if depending on how evil your hag is, you may be able to come to some sort of look. Yeah, this isn't what you wanted, and wasn't their choice. But maybe they're not. Maybe you can have them not be too evil. Maybe that hag, is just a bit insane and not eating children. I don't know. It's a hard one to. It's really over the top. It's very fun though.
And also with their melee stats that we talked about.
Jesus, yeah.
They're a very good level boss because even though you put one on their own, they're still going to be slashing at the party and
the spell casting is interesting, but it's not just like I do fireball and do lots of damage to you, which is cool as well. So it could be a neat little thing, like having a boss that's like, they slash you and then they go invisible. And it's like, okay, where are they? And are they still in the room? Are they running away? Who knows?
Yeah, and again, like depending on how strong your party is outfitted, they are a monster that could have minions. So you could throw those in, and that would be too out of place.
A quickling in a cage.
I could really imagine this like having become some sort of tyrant to a group of goblins or something like that.
Yeah.
And forcing them to fight you. Or as you say, because they are Fae, of course. Yeah, quicklings or any other Fae creatures.
Because quicklings love mischief.
It's really cool that this is a Fae. I didn't realise that hags were Fae. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's how I've actually used them. I had a druid grove that was in the material plane that was like ancient. And a group of hags had been a coven of hags had been corrupting it. And basically turned it into like a mushroom forest.
Ah, nice.
So then they, fight their way in, and the hags are like, doing all their evil rituals, arguing with each other about which is their favourite mushroom.
Yeah. I'm just imagining now as well, like having like a Feywild adventure that's like maybe going from like the regular like material plane and having like a pretty standard fantasy experience, or like even like a dark fantasy, and then going to the Feywild and having a really traditional like fairy tale set of like encounters. That could be quite fun.
Don't listen to the river because the river will tell lies. Kind of.
Yeah, and like like just getting riddles from trees and
Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, just really. I mean, of course, that I think D&D, in a way, I think D&D, that's where D&D like started off, really.
Yeah.
There is an Alice in the Wonderland 2nd edition adventure.
Yeah. So again, it's no surprise that this sort of thing works really well in D&D.
Do we want to join forces to put a number towards this gross,
Surely, yeah.
evil, disgusting being.
So for the avid viewer of the previous episodes, you'll know that we before gave it one number each, and we left it at that. No more, I say. I demand consensus. So, but we can still start by giving what we think, and then we can talk about it, and then.
I think it's pretty cool. I've had I've not had experience in D&D with it, but
yeah.
Again, I've said a couple times, but the Witcher 3 experience is, I think, really captures what you can do with them in that game. I think it's really cool. I think it's really useful in different ways. On its own, it can be a low level boss. If you have a coven that's acting in a larger scale, that can be a pretty cool mid-level interaction.
And it's a lot of fun for the DM as well.
It's good old fun. You get to put on your silly voice. Yeah. So I'm gonna go a 16. I think they're really good. That's that's where I'm sitting on them. I think they're pretty cool.
I'm definitely lower than 16 personally.
I would say I really like them. And a note about ratings for anyone who may be here for the first time.
Oh, that's true.
When our rating is from potentially 0 to 20, which is roughly a challenge rating of a D&D monster, except the super strong stuff.
Yeah, I think we've been relatively consistent.
Yeah, I think so too. The sentence I say is we are not IGN.
Yes, we don't just give things a good grade if it's fine.
And I like the hag more than I dislike the hag. And there's many ways to use them. And every monster that we've really liked, with the 16 you've given it, has been the character that is also a monster. But I just don't... I see it for an adventure. I don't see it for the campaign, which our higher level ones generally have been the campaign.
Yes. I would totally agree. You wouldn't base a campaign over them.
This was really low. Just if you want to do a couple, maybe a 10, or not 10, a 4 or 5 sessions.
They make a good bigger enemy for those kind of lower level things. Anyway, yes.
And you could tie a couple of adventures together with them, an early one and a later one. You have one hag who's resentful of being kicked out of her coven.
Yeah.
And then later on you find that coven, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, Jagatha was from that," or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they already know how to deal with hags slightly. But yeah, I would probably go around a 12, 13.
I was thinking back on what I gave things like the ghoul and stuff, because I think this is better personally than a ghoul. I was thinking 14, which actually completely splits us down the middle.
I'm happy to go to 14, to be honest.
I'm very happy with a 14.
I think 14 feels very fair, and because again it's got a lot of character. It's not something that you can use super flexibly. Basically, the flexibility comes to how evil do you want it. But I think for this, that's really fine. Again, it's it does what it is very well, and it's great fun. It's more interesting than it has spelled, but it does a lot of good melee, so that's quite unique. But again, it is what it is. I think a 14 seems very fair to me.
And I do want to touch on this. It's way more interesting than its art in the Monster Manual would let you believe.
Yeah,
I don't actually remember at all what the Monster Manual art looks like.
It's like a green woman in black robes with a heart in her hands. Yeah.
I mean, I've drawn an evil green woman.
No, but this is a lot funner.
All right, there's
there's a
I've made a buff now. I've put she needs a dumbbell because she's 18 strength. There'll be there'll just be a barbell in the background here.
A barbell made of cheese wheels,
she's just she's just been when she's not because if you could see in the picture here, she's picking up Norman one-handed, and he's a big boy. I think based on my vague knowledge of how much a strong human weighs, Norman's probably in the region of 100 kilos from his body type. So
he's wearing armor as well,
and plus his armor, so she's holding it in one hand.
I like how tall she is as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume they're medium, but medium in D&D is anything from 5 foot to 10.
You could have a hag 7 foot tall. It's fine.
And
I
imagine they're hunched over.
Yeah, exactly.
She reminds me kind of a Dark Souls boss,
it's
like
very
a Bloodborne or something.
Oh yeah. What I'm thinking as well is that bit in Lord of the Rings where Gandalf suddenly becomes really lanky and creepy. I think that makes sense. It's like it's
Yeah.
supernatural. Like, why should things be consistent if they're magic? So
Well,
you can imagine her being hunched over and tiny when you first meet her, and then when you start fighting her, sort of growing creepily and like in a way again that doesn't seem real.
Like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which I think is what they do.
Is a pretty good hag.
Yeah, that's fair. It's like a super hag.
No, but like, like luring children, tormenting people,
yeah, that's true, yeah.
and then eventually taking them to the lair where you see its true form.
And it's Tim Curry.
And it's Tim. You know what? A male hag could be
Why not
hilarious.
Tim Curry.
A male hag who's Tim Curry.
That'd be very fun. Cheese pizza.
I think we might be getting slightly off topic.
Spice.
Spice!
Astral plane.
I'm going to go to the one place untouched by adventurers. The astral plane.
It's green. I think it's green.
Green and mean.
I sure hope it's green.
It's certainly green.
I like it. I like it.
Gross props.
Yeah, gross. I had like this cage there before, and I'm drawing a cage. No, no one's got time to do that. So I just thought, well, because I remember you mentioning they like drape entrails on stuff to be scary.
Yes,
something.
they'd wear them and stuff. Yeah, like,
Right. Yeah. So she's got a big old bag of gross props, for when she needs to dress up and scare people. But right now she's just live streaming this cooking show to her coven.
She's an affiliated hag.
Yeah, she's an affiliated eyeball streamer. Hag Eye, was that what it was called?
Yeah.
Yes.
Something like that? Yeah.
that is the name of that device. The CCTV.
I do like it. I like the background is very like little D&D sketches for like, that you'd find in...
Yeah, it's kind of like a...
In a session that someone could
Yeah.
pull out for you, kind of. Yeah.
What I was thinking of that table is it looks like the top-down view of like a default table asset.
That's exactly what I was describing, yeah.
But drawn, yeah. Again, green's a weird colour to use digitally. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but like when you print green, it doesn't look like it looks on screens because green is weird to use, so I generally avoid it. So that's why I was like, I don't even know if I've made this green. Again, colourblind, but anyway, I think it's worth mentioning that witches are like a kind of interesting topic socially because obviously witches, where they start out in mythology, are baddies, the villains and such, and the hag is in D&D is like 100% all the ridiculous evil
bad
witch
assets,
trope stuff. Whereas these days we have a kind of view on the real life people who are accused of being witches, and thus people use sort of witch iconography in a way now to sort of talk about, people who feel ostracized by society, which is why I think the hag in D&D is good, because it's not a human who's evil or something, it's a fey evil creature.
Not of this world. Inhumanely cruel.
Exactly.
I mean, nowadays, like, to continue that tangent, I mean, we do have Wiccans who are...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, practicing Wiccans. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Hags are really interesting. Obviously, there's a few others that we have mentioned and we'll come back to, and a few we haven't even talked about at all. I don't, because most of the stuff I got for this was from the base book, and I know there's quite a bit more in Mordecai. Volos.
Volos, yeah.
So
yeah.
So we'll come back to it in the next video.
It's the green hag.
Yes.
There's a many a hag more, and I'm sure we'll get back to them at some point. Not immediately,
not.
unless Neil, you have a plan for later on for just another hag.
Just
we'll see, I suppose.
Hag at you.
Hag. Thank you. Again, it's a great voice. Of course,
Hello, dearies.
I can't remember the name of the lady, but the lady who played the Wicked Witch of the West, like in the Wizard of Oz, was having an absolute blast.
Oh yeah,
playing that. I think she's quite famously had an amazing time chewing the scenery there.
Yeah.
It is a fun voice.
And you could always do like Wizard of Oz with the hag. Have a bucket of water be her.
Yeah, why not?
Weakness.
It's not a super strong enemy. Giving it such a critical weakness like that, it could be really fun. And it's something like a player might think to do, and it would be disappointing for them to just go, you throw water at it and it does nothing. So
at the very least give it like disadvantage or something. It affects it, or it.
All the other monsters that are real monsters have their real weaknesses.
Right. Yes, that's a really good point actually. So in a way, it's almost odd actually that the green hag doesn't have that then.
I guess because she isn't really the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah, that's true. But it's the green hag. Now, if they had a step up, if they had a super green hag, the wicked hag.
Ooh.
Anyway, luckily for you, you don't have to have a hag eye to see everything that we do. You just need to subscribe and you'll be notified whenever a video gets put up.
If there's any hags out there, please don't be afraid to nag us in the comments.
Excellent.
You could join a covenant of like-minded individuals by liking this video.
Oh, nailed it. Brought it on home.
There you go.
Home run.
Very good.
What more is there to say?
Very good. I mean, might as well cut mine at this rate. They're going to be commenting about how good that is.
I think what's going to be happening, and if it's not happening, I'll cut this so you won't hear it. I think on the screen currently there's going to be all the monsters we have rated and like the number associated with that.
Oh, so you're going to have like a league table.
I'm going to have that scrolling by like a credits right now.
Yeah.
And the numbers we've got there are the average, because before we were doing 3 numbers, one for each of us, which was all very diplomatic and nice, but I demand consensus.
He demands perfection.
Yeah. We must agree. For some reason, it just makes my life.
We are a quintessence now.
2% easier. But yeah, that's the number. Is just an average of what we gave it. But we all feel, don't we, that they're sort of fair-ish.
There's been nothing we disagree with.
On the whole, we mostly feel that most of the stuff that we've averaged out is okay. Mostly,
it's good enough.
Yeah, it's good enough to not go back and change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's going to be there. So feel free to discuss how unjust you feel it is that the ghost is as high as Mindful is. And how that's complete bullshit. Reverse that there so it's not swearing. No worries, though. I'll get right on that.